Once, in a village deep within the heart of the forest, there lived a renowned hunter and warrior named Afam. He was strong, brave, and revered by his people for his unmatched skills in hunting. His prowess in the wilderness provided for his family, and for many years he enjoyed great honor and prosperity. He was married to Fatima, a beautiful and gentle woman, and together they lived happily for 10 years. However, despite their love and bond, one thing eluded them: a child. For 10 long years, Afam and Fatima had tried everything to conceive. They visited herbalists and healers, followed countless prescriptions and remedies, but none bore fruit. Their yearning for a child became a heavy burden, especially for Fatima, who was constantly mocked and ridiculed by the village women. Whenever she visited the market or sat in the mini salon to get her hair braided, whispers followed her. Barren, they called her. Some even claimed she was cursed. Each day the weight of those cruel words grew heavier on her heart. While Fatima suffered in silence, Afam too faced his own trials. Hunting, which had once been his strength and pride, began to betray him. For weeks on end, he would set off into the forest and return with barely anything to show for it: a single rabbit, or perhaps a small bird. The villagers, who once hailed him as the greatest hunter, now laughed behind his back. They spoke of his dwindling fortunes and whispered that perhaps it was the lack of a child that had cursed his life. Fatima, heartbroken and tired of her fruitless attempts to please society, often found herself crying alone at home. One day, as Afam returned from a failed hunting trip, he stumbled upon her in tears. His heart shattered at the sight of her pain, and he pulled her into his arms. "Why are you crying?" he asked softly, though he already knew the answer. Fatima, her voice choked with emotion, poured out her heart. "They call me cursed. They say I'm barren. Every time I go to the market, they mock me. I can't take it anymore. Afam, what have we done to deserve this?" Afam held her closer, his own pain mirroring hers. "Don't cry," he whispered. "Tomorrow morning, I'll go to see my parents. Perhaps they know something we don't. Maybe there's something we've overlooked, and they can help us." The next day, Afam journeyed to his parents' house, hoping for answers. His mother welcomed him warmly, but her joy quickly turned to bitterness when he told her about the childless years he and Fatima had endured. Afam, his mother, said sternly, "There's nothing wrong with you. It's your wife who is barren. You should take another wife. I want a grandchild, and she can't give you one." Her words cut deep into Afam's heart, stirring anger within him. Without waiting for his father to return from a meeting, he left in silence. When he arrived home, Fatima, her eyes filled with hope, asked him how the visit had gone. Afam, not wanting to hurt her, lied. "They said I should come back in a few days. We'll see what happens." But deep down, Afam was confused. They had already visited many herbalists, and all had told them the same thing: that they were both fertile. Yet, after 10 long years, they still had no child. His mind was in turmoil, and each day he grew more frustrated. His hunting trips became angrier and more desperate, but the forest remained unyielding. The once great hunter now barely brought enough meat home to feed his wife, let alone sale to some villagers. Months passed in this state of despair, and then one fateful night, everything changed. Afam had gone into the forest, hoping for a better hunt than usual. As he wandered through the dense woods, he spotted something: a large, majestic antelope. His heart leapt with excitement. It had been so long since he'd seen such a grand animal. Quietly, he crept closer, ready to make his kill. But as he neared the antelope, he noticed something strange. The antelope was pregnant and in labor. It staggered as it tried to move, clearly in pain. Afam froze, torn between two choices. On one hand, this was the best cat she'd seen in months. If he brought it home, the villagers would cheer, and his wife would be proud. But on the other hand, the animal was giving birth. Killing it now felt wrong, Afam said. A storm of thoughts raced through his mind. What kind of man would I be to kill a mother giving birth? But how can I return home empty-handed once again then? As if something deep within him stirred, Afam made a decision. No, he said aloud. I won't kill it. Let it live. Maybe, if I let it go, the forest will flourish once again, and the animals will multiply. As soon as the words left his lips, the sky opened, and a heavy rain began to fall. He turned his back on the antelope and returned home. When he told Fatima about his choice, she smiled a small, hopeful smile that she hadn't worn in months. You did the right thing, Afam, she whispered. To their amazement, a few weeks later, Fatima discovered she was pregnant. After 10 long years of waiting, it felt like a miracle. The villagers couldn't believe it either. They whispered and gossiped, saying it was magic. But Fatima and Afam didn't care. They were overjoyed. Months passed, and as Fatima's belly grew, Afam's fortunes changed too. His hunts became successful again, and he returned to bringing home large game, just like he had in the past. However, one night, as her due date approached, Afam once again encountered the same antelope in the forest. This time it wasn't pregnant, but it stood calmly, staring at him. He tried to move closer, but the antelope didn't run. Goosebumps ran down his spine, and without thinking, he rushed home. When he arrived, the village was in celebration. He was confused until a woman rushed out to tell him the news: his wife had given birth to twins, a boy and a girl. Overcome with emotion, tears filled his eyes. He rushed to Fatima's side, where she lay weak but smiling. "Thank you, my queen," he whispered, kissing her forehead. "I love you." He gazed at his 2 newborns, their tiny faces sleeping peacefully. "Welcome, my children. I will do everything in my power to protect and provide for you. You both are gifts from the heavens." The villagers, who had once mocked them, now celebrated them. Even at the market few weeks later, as Fatima went to get some foodstuffs, they showered her with lots of gifts. Fatima became Mama Twins, and Afam regained his title as the greatest hunter. Every time he went into the forest, he would look for that antelope, but he never saw it again. He was like, what could have happened if I didn't save the life of that pregnant antelope? Yet, in his heart, he knew it had been more than just an animal. It was a sign, a guardian, sent to change their fate. And so Afam, Fatima, and their children lived in peace, their once broken hearts now full of joy and abundance. Tell us what you learned from this story. Like, comment, and share. Subscribe for more videos. Then turn on notifications bell. Thanks.